Today we're going to take a look at expanding double brackets. Now in expanding double brackets, what it means is that everything in the left-hand bracket is multiplied by everything in the right-hand bracket. So in the left-hand bracket, we're going to take one term at a time. So if I take the 2x, I'm going to multiply it by the 3x. Well, 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared. Okay. Then I'm going to take the 2x and I'm going to multiply it by the minus 4. I've got a positive times a negative. That gives me a negative. 2x times 4 is 8x. I've multiplied everything by the 2x. Now I've got to take a look at the plus 3. So I do 3 times 3x, which is plus 9x. And then 3 times minus 4. Now you've got to be careful here. A lot of students end up adding or taking away at this stage. Remember, it's a multiply. So 3 times minus 4, a plus times a minus is a minus, and 3 times 4 is 12. You must now collect like terms. You must simplify from this stage. First, you've got a 6x squared. I've got no other x squared, so I just write the 6x squared. Now, if I look at the x's, I've got minus 8x plus 9x. That gives me plus 1x, but I don't write 1x, I just write plus x. And then I've got a minus 12, I've got no other coefficients, so that's just minus 12. That's it. Okay, let's take a look at this example. Have a go at it yourself, press pause, and then we'll go over it in just a few seconds. Okay, if we take a look at this one, again, I start off with a 4x, and I'm going to multiply it by the 5x. 4 times 5 gives me 20, x times x gives me x squared. Then I take the 4x and I multiply it by the plus 3. A plus times a plus gives me a plus, and 4x times 3 is 12x. I've multiplied everything by the 4x. Now I've got to multiply by the minus 2. So a minus 2 times 5x, a minus times a plus gives me a minus, and 2 times 5x is 10x. Now I've got minus 2 and I've got to multiply it by the plus 3. I've got a negative times a positive again, and that gives me a negative, and 2 times 3 gives me 6. Remember, it's a multiplying, it's not an addition or a subtraction. Okay, now I've got this stage here, I've got to simplify it. I've got my 20x squared, I don't have any other x squared, so I just write that down. I've got a plus 12x and a minus 10x. So if I collect like terms, I've got plus 2x, and then I've got my minus 6. Okay, here are 3 questions for you to have a go at. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll run through them in just a second. Okay, let's take a look at these. Right, for the first one, I've got my 3x, and I'm multiplying that by my 2x. So 3x times 2x gives me 6x squared. I've now got my 3x times my minus 3. Remember, a positive times a negative gives me a negative, and 3x times 3 is 9x. I've multiplied everything by the 3x. Now I've got to do the minus 4. Minus 4 times 2x is minus 8x, and minus 4 times minus 3, remember a minus times a minus is a positive, and 4 times 3 it gives me 12. Okay, I must simplify. I've got to collect like terms. So I've got 6x squared minus 9x minus 8x minus 17x plus 12. Okay, for the second one, that's a bit more confusing. I've got a negative at the beginning, but okay, let's handle it the same way. I've got minus 2x times 5x, and minus times a positive gives me a minus. A 2x times 5x gives me 10x squared. Then I've got my minus 2 times minus 1. I know that a negative times a negative gives me a positive, and 2x times 1 gives me 2x. I've now got my 3 times the 5x, which is plus 15x, and then my 3 times minus 1, a positive times a negative gives me a negative, and 3 times 1 gives me 3. Again, I collect the like terms. I've got a minus 10x squared. I've got 2x plus 15x, which gives me plus 17x, and then minus 3. That's my final answer for that one. In the last one, well, this is slightly different again because I have an x squared here, but let's just follow it through in the same way. I've got 2x squared times x, which gives me 2x cubed, because x squared times x gives me x cubed. Now I've got 2x squared times minus 2. I've got positive times a negative, gives me a negative. 2x squared times 2 is 4x squared. Then I've got 4 times x, which is plus 4x, and then 4 times minus 2, which is minus 8. Now usually I would look to collect the like terms, so let's take a look at it. I've got an x cubed here, no other x cubed. I've got an x squared here, no other x squared. I've got an x, no other x's, and I've got a coefficient. So I cannot simplify this one anymore. This is the final answer.